So please welcome to the stage, Tony and Katherine.
Thank you.
Hello again. All right. All right. So, Katherine Jones.
Hello.
Director of Think Wine.
Yeah.
UK B Corp. Shaking up the sparkling wine game with vegan, organic, low sugar Prosecco.
That's me.
I read that you've got a background in influencer
Yeah.
and e-com marketing.
Yeah.
You spotted a gap in for healthier fizz and launched Think in 2019.
Yeah.
Since then, it's gone international.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah. So you're the founder of the National Influencer Awards as well.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. So that was my latest venture. So that's my third business. That was a nightmare.
Was it?
Yeah, but also very fun. So my background is influencer marketing. So we manage people in Social Nation who have followers anything from probably 500,000 is the lowest that we have, right up to like 7-8 million followers. It's people with highly engaged followers. It's also people with, what we're trying to do anyway, is really pivot towards like personalities with purpose, so that it's not just, your standard Love Island influencer. Don't get me wrong, we have a couple of those, but generally the way we're going now is we're looking for influencers that actually, care and they're doing some good in the world, basically. So that's my background. I've been doing that for 11 years now. Literally we paved the way for influencer marketing. It was before people were getting paid to do anything, before it was saturated to death. But anyway, because of that, when I was going to awards, so I'd go to like the Hospitality Awards or the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Awards, I would tell my clients, I was like, oh, I'm at this award ceremony tonight, and they'd be like, why don't we ever get to go? Why don't we ever get an award? And I was like, actually, why don't you? Because I've never actually seen an influencer awards. At the time. I think there is like one, but it's like the Creators Award and it's in London. Everything's always in London, nothing's in the north. So I was like, right, we're doing this in Liverpool and we're going to do the first one, we're going to make it huge. And so the first one's just been on the 16th of May. It was a lot of work, a lot of work. I don't think I understood. And also we made it took 1 million hours, all my staff, all my friends, all my family, and I think we made 200 quid.
Wow.
But
not about money.
But we didn't lose any money. And it was mega in terms of like the coverage. It was mega. We were covered on in the press nationally. We had like influencers there everyone knows, such as like Wayne Lineker, Sophia Viraji, Ashley Kane, There's a guy, I don't know if you'd know him, he's a bit younger, but his following is so insane that like girls are hanging around outside the place screaming for him. Ben Williams, his name is. He's a TikToker. Anyway, it was mega. It was really, really good. And obviously we had our wine as the sponsor, and it was worth not making any money in all the time just for the sponsorship opportunity for Think Wine. So,
and what sparked the idea then? Because I was thinking I was going to talk about wine today, but...
Yeah. Well, that is really what sparked the idea. So because I have my own influencer agency and I was seeing the return on investment that these influencers were making for the brands. So, for example, there's this brand from Leeds, funnily enough, called Plump It. And they've got like a lip plumping gloss. And so I remember the guy came and reached out to me. He was very young. He's like, we've got this idea. We've set up this website. We need to just shift product. So I was like, okay, you pay me £1,000 and I will get one of my influencers to promote, this product. Anyway, we did that post. He had 35 grand back in his bank that next day. So it was like mega return on investment. This is before the saturated market. So straight away, I'm like, £, great. How am I going to do this for myself? Because I'm building all these brands and they're going 0 to 100 overnight. Then they're everyone, it's young entrepreneurs, and then they're quitting the jobs the next day because they're like, hey, we're in now. And I'm going, okay, I need to do this myself. And so that's how the idea came about. I knew I wanted my own product. I knew I wanted it to have longevity, because what I was noticing was there was people that were buying like crap from China, basically shifting it via influencers and then shutting down the business and doing something else. And I didn't want that. I wanted something where I was passionate, I loved it, it had longevity. So I've always loved wine, like, unfortunately. And so I'd go on wine holidays and wine trips and wine tasting. And so I was like, I know what I'd like to do. I'd like to create a wine. And I was going to all these influencer events, especially because I was younger. I would literally go to the opening of an envelope. It didn't matter. I would love it. And you get a glass of wine on arrival or a cocktail or champagne. And I'd be like, this tastes of shit. And it was full of sugar. And I just was like, no, I can't drink this. I can't keep gaining weight. Like, there's got to be a better way. And so that was what sparked the idea. It was like, I need to create a celebratory drink that's low sugar, it's low calorie, it's vegan, it's organic, it's low sulfite, because the sulfite in the alcohol is what really gives you that hangover. And it needs to be just like a high quality product. And then I'll get all the influencers to promote it and I'll be flying. And that was the idea.
So isn't that a massive challenge though? Sourcing, B Corp, organic,
yes.
etc. What, you know, how did you overcome
why?
that? Why? But
yeah, why
how did you overcome that?
So the thing is, if I knew actually everything, I would never have done it, right? If I knew all the things that needed to happen, I would never have done it. But I didn't. So I just kept running into roadblocks every 5 minutes. So the first thing I did is I got on a plane, went to Italy and just visited all these vineyards, told them what I wanted. Half of them were like, absolutely not. You can buy our product off the shelf and put a label on. And I was like, no, I don't want a white label product. I want my own product that I create myself. So that's half of them gone already. Then the other half, they might be vegan, but they're not organic. Or they might be willing to be organic, but they're not going to reduce the sulfites, or they're not willing to work with me to create my own sugar levels, whatever. Anyway, I finally find this one vineyard, which is like family run, gorgeous, so bothered about the grape. And I'm tasting their wine, I'm like, this is it. Because I know that with a reduction in sugar, it's still going to be phenomenal. So I was just tasting, obviously, wine tasting galore. It was a terrible time in life.
Rubbish.
And then finally found the vineyard. We came up with the recipe, and then we, I had to create the brand, which was all done by me. Like I literally created the brand myself. All the branding, all the artwork, all the colours, everything is done by me.
Didn't you use an agency?
No.
No.
No, I did it myself. Well, myself and to be fair, my boyfriend is a graphic designer.
Okay.
Fiance now. He is a graphic designer, right? And so he did help a lot, but yeah, it was all my vision, but his, work.
Yeah.
What happened next? Oh yeah, so at that point, obviously, you're not even thinking, the cost of the wine, fine, that's okay. But you don't realise that there's then a duty cost, which is nearly £2 additional. Then you don't realise there's then the shipping cost, which is so much more additional. Then you don't realise you need the alcohol licensing, the warehouse, the premises license, the personal license. So then I'm battling all these licenses. At one point, I had to have an interview with HMRC. It was 5 hours long. And I would never pass now. But at the time, luckily, I was clean as a whistle. Well, 5 hours with HMRC, it was hell. Anyway, we finally got it off the ground, but it was 2 years of messing around, like 2 years of finally getting it to market. And then when we launched it, which was 2019, it's right before lockdown.
Here we go
so
again.
It takes away half of my market. Yeah. But also what it did is it made me put all of our efforts into e-commerce. Yeah. So we survived. It was okay, but we weren't flourishing. We weren't thriving. We were surviving. But it was fine because we put so much effort. And obviously my background's influencers, so I was able to gift so many influencers. They would drink it. Our socials were growing quick, but I didn't really have any money to put into really pushing it. Yeah. So a lot of what we did was organic, but we were able to, tick over, kind of breaking even type of thing for those years of lockdown. And then obviously when lockdown went away, we were able to get back into B2B, which is where I really wanted to be, like the event spaces, the football stadiums, stuff like that. We were able to push back into that, which is what we're doing now. So at the minute, we're like a 50-50 split. We're like business to business 50% and e-commerce online 50%.
And what's like a standout campaign that's really working?
Yeah. So we did a campaign with a girl called Molly Smith who went on Love Island. She's big into fitness. All of her content is fitness related. And I mean, it helps that she's stunning, gorgeous. Yeah. So she did a post. She loved our wine anyway. She drank it at events, and like, obviously we knew some of her friends, but we then paid her for a post. And she created like all this content, like videos, pictures, whatever, drinking the wine, talking about it. It's low calorie, it's low sugar, vegan, organic, blah, blah, blah. And at the time when we did the post, it did well. We made like, gone are the days where it's $1,000 and you make 35. Now it's like you pay $3,000, you make 6 or 7. It's still a good return, but it's still not as good as it once was. But Molly, that campaign did quite well. Let's just say we paid her 3, we might have made 6. But then she went back on Love Island for a thing called All Stars, which is just like, she re-entered the villa. And then when she was in there and I was posting it on my ads, on everything, went mental. That was like our best performing campaign ever. We made thousands of pounds off the back of just reposting her content that was 2 years old on ads.
Evergreen content.
Yeah.
Right. I've got a note here about fraud, theft.
Lol.
Can you just expand on that? I don't know.
Right, okay. So the first thing that happened to me is I had a guy working for me who was very much a friend. He worked for me for like 3 or 4 years. He stole £10,000 out of the business. And the way he did that is he was on the invoices that influencers were sending me. So obviously I would invoice the brand would pay me, the influencer invoices me. So he would edit those invoices to have his bank details on.
Oh God.
So that then I'm paying the influencer like, and then the influencer's going, "Hi Kath, I've not been paid." I'm like, "I have paid you." And they're like, "No, you haven't." So I look, oh hi, it's his bank details. So that was £10,000 that he got away with, and then in the end, his mum paid me back, so that was like, so I got that money back. That was my first dabble. The next thing that happened to me is, so you know, when I was on these Italian trips trying to source the wine and create the product, I met a guy, and he was basically what you would say is a wine agent. So he's the go-between, because obviously the vineyards are run by like really old Italians, and I can't speak Italian. So he would take me around, he'd do the negotiations, he'd do the contracting, all of that great. We worked together for nearly 4 years. And in the same way I work as an agency where people pay me, then I pay them, that's how I'd work with him. So I would pay him, he would pay the vineyard. And then this one time I paid him £60,000 and he never paid the vineyard. So that was £60,000, and that nearly finished us that, because it was down, 60 grand down the drain. So imagine the first thing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sue him. Okay, I'm going to phone the police.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, the Italian police were like, ha, we don't care. Then the solicitors were like, do not waste your money, because I am telling you now, you will never win a thing in Italy. There's no way you will win anything here. So don't waste your money. Take it on the chin. He's disappeared, he's fled. What I've now learned, actually years later, is that apparently he was like dying of cancer, and he'd taken that money to go into some kind of cancer treatment. I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but you know, at least I know there was a reason, I suppose, why he did it. He disappeared. I've never heard of him since. The vineyard never did either, and he was down the road from the vineyard. So I had to then repurchase the stock, which is what really set us back, because I probably had in my bank always about a 50 grand buffer. You know, like that's what I have for emergencies, or maybe for marketing or whatever. And then when I had to rebuy that wine, my bank account was literally at 0. So but I've got all these overheads of 20 grand a month. and my bank account's at zero because I've had to rebuy my wine. So it just put me in like a really hellish position where I never wanted to find an investor because I wanted to bootstrap it to the point where I could get really good money when I took on an investor. So I was happy bootstrapping. But I had no choice at this point. It's like, get an investor or die. You know, the business will go under. So I started looking for an investor on LinkedIn. By this point, I've built my LinkedIn very good. I've been posting every single day consistently for like 3 years. So I've got a great network now. And I'm posting on LinkedIn saying I'm desperate for an investor. Not those words, but basically, yeah. Everyone knew. So everyone's helping me, you know, they're all going, right, come on, we need to get Kath an investor, which is great. And then I found an investor, and he was an American, and he came to me with, you know, I own 10 franchises of TGIs. I own this island in Australia, all of this, and you Google it, it's all there. You know, he's got press release after press release about him. He's a well-known name in the music industry. You Google him, loads of it. He's an investor in like the New York Opera, all this stuff. So you're thinking, wow, I'm quids in here. I've made it. Well, turns out he was just a fraudster. Wow. And actually, I was one of the lucky ones because what he did to me is he just pretended he was going to invest in me. So he'd get my deck and he'd do it to like a lot of other young girls primarily. And he'd take our decks to real life investors, and then the real life investors would pay him the money, and then he'd embezzle the money. So I was lucky because he didn't actually take any money from me. What he did was destroy my mental health, mess me around for a year. But he didn't actually take any money off me, while as there was people I've now found out, because people then messaging me, hi, I've invested in your business. I'm like, who are you? I've never heard of you. They thought they'd invested in my business because he'd used all my stuff and the contracts and everything to go to them with. And it turns out he just took all the money. There's people he's took $1 million off, people he's took 500 grand off. And then there he is on the run. So, I mean, one day it'll be a Netflix story, I'm sure. So yeah, that was that. So that was not more. So I'm thinking by this point, I'm racked up in debt, yeah? Because the business is still growing, but obviously I've got no money. I've got no cash flow. So I'm just credit carding everything. We needed a van because our deliveries are through the roof. I'm buying a van on credit. Money I don't have. And so after that, it all happened. I thought, I should just pack this in. I was like, oh. But you can see, you know, when you can see the turning point, like everyone wants it. That people are coming to me. For years, I'm knocking on doors going, come on, hi, have my wine. Now people are phoning me up. I want a case. I want, 10 pallets. So I'm like, things are changing here. I can't just let it go. But I need to because I'm going mad. Anyway, I didn't, thank God. But I found another investor who was real. And I've had him on board now for a year. So only for the past year have we managed to turn it around and get to a position that we're okay. And I'm not going to say we're super successful because we're not yet.
But you've been through the mill. I mean, how do you actually mentally charge your brain now in terms of trusting anyone?
It's hard now, yeah. I'm a naturally trusting person, I really am. So that is my natural thing, is to trust. But because of all these things, and I think as well because 3 things happen consecutively. That's what, it's like, I think I'm very resilient. You get knocked down, you get back up again. I've always been that way. So I'd get knocked down once, it's like, okay, fine, I'll get back up. I'll get knocked down again, okay, fine, I'll get back up. The 3rd time, it's like, no, piss off. Leave me down. I just want to stay in bed. I just want to, not get back up again. So I was very, very this close to not getting back up again, but I forced it.
That's when you got a passion, really, for what you do.
Yeah, I forced it. So we're okay now, yeah, and it's going to be our year 5, right? So bearing in mind, Social Nation, day 1 I was in profit. There's no overheads. You've got your staff, you've got a phone, you've got a laptop, you're flying, you've got relationships. I made money from the minute I opened my laptop and started that business. We're 5 years into Think Wine now, and I'm only going to make a profit this year.
Wow. What's next? In terms of what You mentioned about overseas, international, US. Is that now?
So
clearly?
no, so that's why I said about so we are international, now we are international because we are doing a few bits with China and but what happened was during that period with the fake investor, we were going to launch in the US, but because it was all fake, it fell through. But there'd already been like a big press release and everyone like, oh my God, you're in the US. And I'm like, not really, no.
I think the audience must have some questions at this point. Can you? Oh, there you go. Look, there's a quick. Oh, what was that? Was that my pacemaker? Have you got a question?
Yeah. Firstly, super inspiring story.
Thank you.
What was the appeal of bootstrapping? I feel like I speak to a lot of founders. Sorry. I think they want to bootstrap.
Yeah.
I've never really asked why.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the reason for me is because the position and where we were at that point wasn't big enough for me to command the money I wanted. So I was just going to bootstrap for, let's say, 5 years. And then I was going to go, okay, it's been 5 years now. I'm in a better position to ask for more money for less. Whereas if I would have been asking for money, well, the same way that happened 2 years ago when I was looking for an investor, everyone's going, well, I don't want to give you what you want because it's not worth that. And it wasn't worth that. But I was just in a position where my hand was forced to do it. So I just wanted to bootstrap to, not forever, it was never going to work like that, but to a point where I could command more, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, Ian.
So with all these different businesses, how do you divide your time?
Do you know what? I always say my role is like the shit catcher. So it's like, I've got a team now, so it's like my team are all really good. They're all so good. You know, I've got Bella here today, she's phenomenal. And they deal with the good stuff. And what happens is whatever business shit hits the fan in, that's where I go. So if something's going on in Social Nation, I have to go there. If I've got a client doing something mega, I have to go there. If I've got Think Wine about to drop dead, my whole time's there for 6 months. So it's like wherever I'm pulled. But luckily, because my team is so strong, they can hold it down throughout the period that I'm not there, if that makes sense. But
yeah, it does. It must be tough though, because
it is.
you're naturally inclined to be wanting to do the really good stuff, the really positive stuff.
Yeah.
And you're the ambassador for all the good and positive stuff. If you find yourself always having to deal with the shit,
Yeah.
it's tough to then lift up out of that.
Yeah.
And actually absorb some of the good stuff, because that's what gives the energy.
Yeah. And I do.
It's a tough thing to have to do that day in, day out.
It is, and I hope that I don't have to do this for too much longer. And as I say, like, things are turning now, you know. It's like, with all the businesses, you know, even though the NIAs didn't make any money, it was still so successful in terms of everything we got off it and all the feedback and everything. So that was so positive, and that, you know, that fills your cup back up.
Yeah.
But then the next week, something else may happen, it'll drain the cup down. But I'm very good at, like, okay, I'll put on your brave face, you don't let the team get you.
The big wins when you can employ the shit.
That's what I would like.
Yeah.
That's the goal. But obviously they want a lot of money. I don't have that yet. But the goal is, get the shit catcher.
Yeah. No, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that the bit you enjoy, catching shit?
No.
Oh.
No
What do
way.
you enjoy?
I enjoy, like, my favourite thing is, like, for example, I've got an influencer, she's quite well known, her name's Sophia Viraji. She just did a video. She lost her daughter to cancer, so horrible. But, you know, she, for 4 years, we've been, like, lifting her up. There was periods when she wouldn't get out of the bed, and we're like, come on, like, getting her up. Anyway, she's gone out, finally. She's, like, found this new guy. She's posted about it. It's gone viral. And then everyone wants her. So, like, you know, she's going on all these massive podcasts. She's going on this TV show. She's going everywhere. And she just keeps asking for me. She's like, I just want Kath. I just want her to come with me. Like, can you come with me? Like, you've been there dragging me out the bed 4 years ago. And now we're on this point of, like, I'm super successful. Can you come with me? Can you do that? I'm like, hell yeah. That's the stuff I love. Like, going with her to London, doing all the events, doing all the stuff where she's getting paid loads of money, and just seeing her thrive from seeing her sobbing in bed. Yeah. It's like, it's mega. It's amazing. So I love that. I also love, like, with the wine, I love going into event spaces and selling the wine. It's my favourite thing to do.